The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up, brighter. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Pinecase podcast, the podcast where music is your drug of choice. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, honestly, this week has been one of the ones, this show, it has been one of the ones, and this beautiful human has been one of the ones that I've been anticipating for a little while now. West Coast, I want to say Homoko, but I know there's another reservation in there that you are trudging from these days. You've hit like every single streaming platform, you've racked up some numbers, you've racked up some friends, and you've created this vibe that goes through every skate park with ease. You're identifying with kids, but also you feel like we can resonate as an adult. Xavier Francis, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, clear that up. I am from Church House. My mother was born and raised there. They were moved from Church House to Homolko Reservation in Campbell River. And my mom went from Campbell River to Cowichan. And I was born here, raised here, and I'm a part of Stz'umqnus band. But I represent Cowichan. I am this valley.
And a beautiful valley is that. Like, you know, I mean, the whole West Coast, it's one of those places that is entrenched with, it's not history because it's still a thriving space for First Nations. And it's like, I don't want to speak on something I'm not, because I'm Jamaican and I'm Canadian and I am not First Nations. However, being from the island and being from that space, it's hard not to feel some sort of kinship to it. And I've been really spoiled to be near a lot of those reservations. The reason why the Homolko stood out to me actually is because I have a few friends from there, and I spent a little bit of time because it's not only Campbell River, it's also Cortez Island. So we used to go back and forth a little bit and ate some really good food and walked barefoot and listened to elders and things like that. So yeah, thank you for clearing that up. Actually, that's really like, before we get into like what we're doing then. So like, I just want to acknowledge like what maybe your mom went through. Like, what do you mean she was removed and moved? Like, what happened there? Do you know much about those details, or like, is that appropriate to talk about?
Yeah, it is appropriate to talk about. My mom was born in an airplane, and they had to make an emergency landing in Church House, and her people are from Church House, and just like a lot of our Indigenous to Canada, the people were picked up in groups and they were transported into these reservations on unfertile land. So they took people from the most fertile places in Canada where we had been farming and fishing and gathering and hunting, and they moved groups, large masses of families, onto these unfertile swamplands where we couldn't farm, we weren't near the ocean any longer, and to be honest, it really does resemble a third world country here in Cowichan. In Homolko, though, as you know, that reservation in Campbell River, they're doing really well. Like, not to speak down about Cowichan tribes, but it's very clear that they don't pick up the trash here, and they don't have the resources that we do in Homolko, because in Campbell River, the band office is right on the res, and there's like a state-of-the-art sports facility right there, and all of the lawns are well kept. They got gardens. That's not to say that the same thing isn't happening. So what happened was they moved a bunch of people to Homolko from the center of BC. And yeah, the church house is still there. I know a couple people who visit their family in church house. And my family's on Homolko. And to be straight, they all dying of alcoholism. I'll be
Yeah.
100 with you. Every single one of them, my aunts, my uncles, my grandmas, my grandpa. On the bright side, though, my grandma, Emily, she lived to be 98 years old.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she was straight.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
Cool.
it's wild because it's not really again, it's tough to talk about for me because it's not my story to tell. However, it's super frustrating that we only get half of the story. Like the whole truth and reconciliation conversation, although whatever the intent was behind it, at least it created conversation, but no one's really talking about like the what now piece of it. Like I understand, the history piece, but like why isn't there included in that conversation like what the youth are going through and why they're hanging out downtown too long and why there is so much alcoholism. Like the conversation is still happening now, and it's like we have this weird like, oh, we're just apologizing for what happened, like, like, oh, that was terrible, but like it's like, well, maybe, but things are still very much affecting what's happening now. The people are still finding like poor coping skills. There still is a genetic disposition to some of these situations, and like we seem to miss that piece because no one wants to deal with the like, what's directly and maybe in their face.
I appreciate your awareness about this. And I had a really strong worded conversation with one of my elders about reconciliation because I used that word to reconcile, to try and find some justice.
Yeah.
With no justice, there's no peace. And with my elders not understanding, because I'm a light skinned
Yeah.
man and they don't see me for who I am. They kind of see me a white boy acting like an Indian, a native. And I had to have a really strong argument with one of my elders just to remind him what reconciliation is you cut me open, you cut them open, we will bleed the same color.
Yeah.
We are all one. We stand together. And he's all upset because what happened in residential school, he will never forget. And I'm not going to be quiet about it. My mom is a residential school survivor. When she moved to Cowichan, she got put into a residential school across the road from the Baptist church. And she attended that residential school for 3 years, and she doesn't remember a day in that school. She doesn't. And she got her reparations. They paid her $10,000 for those 3 years. It doesn't take the pain away.
No.
It doesn't. And my elder was so upset at me because he sees me for a white boy and he wonders, why are you so slow? Why do you talk this way? And I tell him, some people call it depression.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to call this lumathit. Lumathit, to slow down.
Yeah.
So that way, when I'm telling my elders, I respect you, they understand that it is a reciprocated thing. But there's a huge story to this. When I mentioned my mom as Xavier Francis, people are scared because my grandma was a very powerful woman and she did a lot of unspeakable things. Here in Cowichan, there's a lot of dark magic. There's a lot of voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
You being from Jamaica understand what I say when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
This is not talked about, but I'm half white. My father and his father came from Europe.
Yeah.
So I had a huge situation this weekend. We got into it a little bit talking about it before we turned on the live.
Right, yeah.
And it was a lot. My mom was right. She said, Xavier, you don't go and tell all these white folk. They're gonna end up putting you on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
And sure enough, this weekend I was too colorful. I was too loud. I was too proud about my truth, what my family's been through to stay here in Cowichan. And they wanted to institutionalize me, but I ain't take no pills. I'm 3 years clean and sober. Chilling.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful.
God, God bless.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's wild because obvious, like maybe not so obvious, but obvious to me. Like I'm also like, you know, I'm half. So there's always been that conversation of like, you too black to be white, too white to be black. Is it your conversation to have? And I think people forget that none of that's really relevant when we're talking about like generational stuff. It's relevant, I suppose, in the sense that my story might not look the same, right? I mean, my last name's Campbell, so all of it's like the history of rape and pillage, right? I mean, you don't come by that name just on a whim, you know.
Yeah.
But with, even if you take like the race piece out of it, because there's so much we could get into it with even that. It's like when you talk about yeah, no, the being just a child of the product that was the life that was given to your mom. I mean, in order to not remember 3 years, the amount of trauma that you have to go through in order for your mind to be like, you know what, actually, we're just gonna kick this into survival, shove that shit to the back. And I mean, the fact that they could even draw a check and come up with a number for 3 years of memories lost is horrendous. So my condolences to that piece of her life. But yeah, then for her to go on and have children, what are we supposed to look like? What are we supposed to talk like? What are we supposed to act like? Like what exactly is everyone expecting? And I think the fact that you're willing to, I mean, your speech pattern's one thing, but it's actually your whole vibe that has been slowed down in such a way that it's like it's like a it's like not an apology, but like a consideration to the community. It's like you don't have to think too hard. You don't have to dissect this. You can just come and be in the space and read it for what it is. So I respect you a lot, actually, and you can see it in your music. You can see it in the way that you carry yourself. Yeah, it's no sense that people are, you know, it's no shock that people gravitate towards that. And if one person wants to question on why it is the way it is, like that's for them to question, I suppose. But as you know, a bystander looking onwards, I'm like, oh, not only have you found a way to be in this space, but you've actually found a way to be in this space as an example for other people to possibly replicate and use that as a way to survive, you know. Slowing down is not a bad thing, and it allows people to understand what's happening, I think. Yeah.
I appreciate you acknowledging that. It hasn't been easy finding my voice. For a long time, I was quiet. And I'm sure you understand when I say, with us, there's an internal war, being half colonized, being half colonizer. This is something I will speak about. This is something that I write about all the time. And it's in my music. And it's something that is really going to set me apart from the rest of the world, because I know homies is thinking it, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
There's a fucking war.
Yeah.
And it's going on inside me every day. And now that I'm who I am, where I am, and I see you for who you are, sister, is love, okay? And now is the time that we speak up, because our ancestors went through fucking hell. to get us where we are, and we're the best little bits of each and every one of them.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yeah. Well, we have a duty to that. We have a duty to that, and we have a duty to what's to come, right? We have a duty. Like, if we are the piece that bridges all of that together so that we can start functioning closer. I mean, wise person once told me, like, just keep having half babies. That's the quickest way to end racism. And I thought they were like joking, especially because there's so much like, oh, there was so much stigma about me being half caste or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that term has changed too over the years, but it was like, that's the quickest way to end racism. Like, what do you mean? And I mean, I am a mom, and it's really hard for people to pick that apart because they maybe look blacker than I am, and that's not necessarily true. And so they too will carry on the conversation, right? People want to believe what they can believe, and they can live however they want. But we're starting to shift the conversation with the stigma piece. And it's artists, it's the entertainment industry, it's those are the things that people gravitate towards and pick up on and are like, okay, I can participate with that too, because we have, oh gosh, I couldn't even imagine the numbers. I mean, you'd be surprised to find somebody who's maybe even 100% anything nowadays in any community. And if you feel
Yeah.
like that and I feel like that, that means that there's more of us and there's more to come. So to be able to speak on that and create music and create space for that, I think is really, it's a really powerful thing. Do you want to take me back though? Like, how did that start? Like, how does that start? Where did you start writing music? Like, when were you like, this is for me?
I started writing in school with poetry, and I found poetry in hip hop as well. And I would listen to like Team Backpack on YouTube, and they were just a cipher thing going down
Yes.
on the boulevard, and they would pull up speakers, and then it got into this really big commercial situation where they were throwing massive events and Mission Underground. And I thought to myself, like, damn, I got a lot of shit to say that these homies is not saying. And I would hear, like, back in the day, there's this chick, Lil Debbie, and she was so cool with Krayshawn, and they were just doing this shit spitefully. They were like, bitches is not saying what they need to be saying. I'ma say it. And I was like, damn, I love these girls. They're like hippies smoking weed and like really being chill, and like I vibe and resonate with these girls and all these people putting on hip hop events. Like I could rap for sure. And I just started writing daily after school because I was a really good student. I got a lot of really good grades. I was a straight A student. I'll be straight. And it was amazing how much bullying I experienced. Like you said it, to the whites I'm brown, and to the brown I'm white. And I never felt like I fit in anywhere I went. And so I'd just write about it. I'd just be like spiteful and hateful, and it was tough. I was 18 and I didn't have any guidance. Nobody taught me how to do my taxes. Nobody taught me how to budget. They just hit me with an assignment in grade 12 like, "Oh, you're going to have to learn life really quick." And I became really depressed, and like through my poetry I found some empowerment, some liberation. And like through my poetry I found Buddhism, and Buddhism helped me find out about reincarnation. And reincarnation let me like dive into my past life progressions, like how these aren't just dreams I'm having. These are full on recollections. These are memories. And I would just write them down. I'd write them down, and I would just make the sentences fill, and like end a sentence with the rhyme, and then just say another sentence and make it rhyme. And it would come down to like syllables and cadence and delivery and flow. And I learned all about hip hop and all of the cultural aspects of it, because hip hop is a culture too. It's got break dancing, b-boy skills. We got graffiti artists with aerosol cans. we got DJs spinning records, and we got this cousin, an MC, right? Master of ceremonies. I speak fluently and enunciate every word so motherfuckers can't say, what? Huh? It's like I said it clearly. You heard me. And then, man, that's how I started, and it was just a young boy, depressed, finding a way out, man. So,
You are such a beautiful human being, honestly. Like the picture that you just painted for me and everybody else in the comment section is like, if you didn't grow up understanding hip hop, there now you know. Now you know exactly what that looks like. Now
yeah,
you know exactly what that feels like, right? Like it didn't, yeah. It and its imperfections is what made it so comfortable, right? And I think people forget. Calico and I were talking about it today about taking the kids. She's like, my kids need an outlet. We need to go to the skate park and we need to just go and tag and like do this and do that. And I'm just like, yeah, exactly. Like,
oh yeah,
you don't need permission for that. Go and do that. Like we've been
right?
doing it for a while now. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
put a rubber glove on the kids' hands.
yeah,
Get a
totally.
spray can in their hand.
Yeah.
Tell them to write something. They will. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then stick it on canvas and raise money for Toys for Tots and use
Boom.
that money to go and you know, spoil a fisherman and then ask them for their pinks because you know the sockeyes are for the family and then feed with the rest of it. Like it doesn't have to be a certain way. You can just keep going and keep going and keep going and play music and let it be that. That's how I mean, salmon might not be that prevalent in hip hop. I just mean that like you don't have to be in Brooklyn to create a whole culture, right? You don't have to be that like entrenched in somebody else's definition of something to for it to be that thing. And all it took is like, you know, a handful of different positions to fill that space, right? Like you said, you gotta like b-boy, you know. I grew up with a couple of kids and I thought, my gosh. I was like, what are these kids doing? Like stealing my mom's cardboard and pushing back all the couches and like before they took it to the streets, right? Because there was always somebody's house before you'd go outside that you practice. Your mom's not home very much. Okay, great. We'll be right over, right? My mom was never home. My mom was never home. And so that's where it was. That's where everyone would hang out. And it was funny because before we got dressed up and cleaned our shoelaces and stuff to go downtown, it's like those are the moments that I feel like our generation, these kids don't get. They like try to be too perfect in front of each other. It's like we got there with, I don't want to say dirty knees because that insinuates something else, but we got there messy. We got there messy. We might have showed up clean, but it took a second to get there, right? Like we practiced that shit first. And yeah, it's just really cool the way that you describe that because I understand.
Well said. You just get more and more beautiful the more you talk. You know that?
Thank you. Thank you.
Damn. Well said. Yeah, it's interesting with the kids these days. They got the advantage too because like we cared so much about our sneakers back then.
Yeah.
Like we took toothbrushes to the sole to make sure they were white.
Yeah.
Now homies just like roll around with white Air Forces and they're just mucky and like you don't give a fuck. It's like they got this superpower. It's just like it's really impressive. And we all have the same tools. Like we all do. That's why I love J. Cole so much. Because he's like, how the fuck you gonna be mad at me when I'm sitting at the same table with the same cutlery? Like we all got the same tools. And I love what you said about that. The culture. Like there's no culture. Well, create one. You ain't need to be on the East Coast. You don't need to be even in a city. Like pick up a pen, pick up a piece of paper. There's medicine in that. The flow of the pen on the paper, the words, the letters coming together. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please. Yeah, sure.
Why wasn't mom home?
That's a loaded question, but you know what?
Hey.
Right. But just she was self-medicating. She was self-medicating because
Okay.
her story. Um, yeah, unfortunately, it's something that's overlooked all the time, right? She's a beautiful white woman with big, huge blue eyes and straight black hair that goes right down to the crack of her butt. And so there is no handouts given to a situation like that, right? There isn't a lot of support. And in fact, it's like, yeah, when you support people that look like that, sometimes people, I don't want to say like, I don't want to say it's like privilege is a tough conversation, right? Because things often get overlooked. And I feel like she was maybe one of those things that had, all the opportunities in the world, but there was a few things that were overlooked for her. And so she was trying to sort them out on her own and just couldn't figure it out. She's still around. And I mean, bless her heart, I love her to death. She's the most amazing grandma one could ever ask for, and in the community, people call her Auntie Nami Darla because there's other people that maybe had more of her as a mom than I did. But she was just trying to figure it out, right? And it didn't always go so great. So
Thank you for opening up about that
yeah,
and showing her grace, because our parents did the best with what they had,
yeah,
right? And I can understand, and why I ask that is because my father wasn't present in my life. He left me when I was a baby, and then he came back in my teenage years. But he also didn't have the tools. Right? He just
yeah,
didn't really know how to take care of a son, right? Especially at an age where I was 13. I was like real edgy. I knew everything,
yeah,
right? And he was tried to come in, and like I ended up just building a resentment toward him at a very young age. And I'll admit that now, and I did admit that to him, that's why I became an alcoholic. Like that was the exact reason. I denied it for years. People around me would say like, "You gotta have a resentment towards your dad.
yeah,
There's no way you don't." And I was like, "No, I forgive him for what he did. I forgive him for not being there." But it was as soon as I got sober that I realized like, oh, there's still a wound there. And I need to try to do my best to make amends with this man. And I'll admit that now, like I did. I fully made things right. And he accepted the responsibility. He acknowledged that he wasn't there, and that what he meant to do was to just be there for me. Instead, words were exchanged, and I developed alcoholism. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. It doesn't matter if I drink or I don't. I am an alcoholic. Just who I am. It's in my genetic build. You
yeah,
mentioned it earlier, right?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
these things are passed down. This is generational.
Yeah. Well, and it needs to be addressed as such. It needs to be addressed as generational. It also needs to be addressed as like a co-occurring situation. It's not just addiction. It's also even if you just want to call it self-medicating, both genetically and in environment, right? They say like psychology is half of each. And so if we're like self-medicating for even both of those situations, like we still need to address both of them. And we I don't know, it's so wild. Like I don't know. Maybe it's not fair, but I have some really strong opinions about like how we deal with addiction, you know.
Mm,
I feel like there's got to be a better way. Like there has to be like a disease, yeah, maybe, but that doesn't actually allude to it being like a genetic situation that to me sounds like an abnormality that happened after the fact, right? Like we still haven't and then some people are like, well, it's a choice. Okay, well, maybe. And if you take the generational part out of it and you still have a choice to okay, yeah, I guess for whatever, but it's like the options that they're giving us, I just haven't figured out which one I can like really sink my teeth into and appreciate. And I'm like, okay, scrap that piece of it. We're just going to call it like recovery, like whatever it
That's
is,
right.
whether it's like coping or self-medicating or genetic or whatever. It's like, okay, well, what does recovery look like then? And how do we look at it from a way that we can acknowledge and medicate properly? Because when you start looking at people who smoke meth, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, they have ADHD. Well, amphetamine is the most widely used medication for that, and what they're sourcing out is just the street version of the same thing that the doctor would give them. Like, okay, like, so it's like things like that. I'm like, okay, so then how do we like get to the piece in the language where the language matches the problem solving piece of recovery? Sorry, that was like a bit of a rant, but it's like,
No, let me elaborate
yeah,
some more on what you said and what stuck out to me, because you said it very well.
thank you.
Well, first of all, you said I don't know,
Mhm.
and I know you know. I know that. And then you said dis-ease. This is a word that they do. They put it on us.
Mhm.
You got a dis-ease. Well, I've heard of many different kind of dis-ease in my life. One of the most recent one was an industrial dis-ease. And I fuck with my buddies about this because we're in the gym. We're lifting steel. Right? My homie's getting me in the gym. Shout out to J Bone. He's getting me to do squats with the bar and the steel plates. And an OG warned me about this. He says, "Man, back in the Industrial Revolution, they got industrial dis-ease. It's when you're around metal, you start to become addicted to the pain. You like smelling the iron. You even start to taste the metal, and then you associate this metal with providing for your family. So you actually just get like fully into your industrial dis-ease, and you're no longer at ease. And so when they're trying to put words on us like that, it is in our ability to dissect these words into their true meaning, which is most of the time, we all know it goes back to the Greek, back to the Latin,
Mhm.
right? That's most English. And so I appreciate what you say about that, because I've been told I'm an addict. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you identify as an addict, you go right ahead, sir.
Yeah.
But there's no way you're gonna convince me that I'm an addict because I smoke weed, because that's my medication for my mental health problems. If I do not smoke weed, I will surely have a drink. I
Yeah.
will surely do some MDMA. I will surely do a little bump of coke. Then I'll take some mushrooms. And then if somebody got acid, bro, I'll cut that thing up. I'll put a little bit under my tongue and I'll have another drink, because that's how Xavier rolled. He
Yeah.
flipped. Hippie flip after hippie flip after trippy fucking whatever. And
Yeah.
I don't roll like that anymore.
Yeah, 3 weeks later, right? Like,
Yeah, I like to think of it as an illness.
yeah.
Like, yeah, ill.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, we could turn that negativity into something that's a little more soothing for ourselves. Like, I'm just ill. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't take my medicine, if I don't do all these things, have all these tools, and then I will surely become
Yeah.
diseased, right?
Yeah. It's in yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, there's so much to say. I mean, I preach it over here so much.
We got
Like,
time.
so much, because I'm just like, if we start, and shout out to the people who use AA and all the fellowships to get what they need. When I heard the numbers on
Yahweh,
that, I was like,
rise up.
yeah, yeah. So however you got to get there, do that.
It's
But
true.
yeah, I don't think much like a mantra, and I know Calico's gonna be in the comments being like, it's the mantra. It's if you say that you're enough, you're enough. If you say that you're beautiful, you are beautiful. If you say that you're an addict, like, why is that the only space that people don't want to acknowledge that shit in? It's this, and that's what's crazy to me, because it's the same people that tell me that they have this many days sober and this many days, and it's like they're the same people that have all these graphics and memes and shit that say that mantras are important and all, and I'm like, yeah, they are. How
Mhm.
you address yourself, how you approach your day is important. Exactly. Like, why are we approaching it that way? Why do we still acknowledge it like that? I don't personally, and I get a little bit of pushback for I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, now's the time for people to really talk about what they're going through and how they are self-medicating. I mean, Quinn Stone, who owns Cali Sober, he's wicked dude. He was one of the people that were like, it's not even about like self-medicating so much, or it's not even about medicating or using my medicine so much as it is like, this is just part of my daily routine that allows me to live respectfully amongst my peers. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like you have a coffee and a cigarette. How is that any more or less a drug than weed and or whatever? And if it's less than, and I say it all the time, it's like horses are cheaper than heroin for me. The
On
smell,
God.
on everything that I know, and it's like the smell, the intention, the reward system, the ritual of of all of it, in the same way that people go out and cop drugs. It's the same thing for me with that. It's like, so like you can use other things to get this, I don't know, maybe not the same thing, but at least now, like, if you're like, okay, if I smoke a little better, or go outside and go ground, or go skateboard, or go write music, and that gives me the same effect that I was trying to achieve with alcoholism but wasn't getting, like, that's the goal. Like, that is the ultimate. Like, isn't that success? I feel like that's success in recovery.
Oh, absolutely. I had a moment the other day with my homie. I was like, "Yo, where's the lighter? I need to smoke this doobie." And he
Mhm.
was like, there's so many pockets, bro. Like, I don't know, I can't find it." And I said, "Yo, fool, you
Yeah.
don't get that lighter out right now, I'm gonna jump in this river. Cause
Yeah.
either way, I'm getting high."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Ma, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. It's November. It's
Yeah.
November. It's November 11th,
Yeah.
bro. Like, it's not the day. Don't do that." I straight up stripped
Yeah.
naked right in front of
Mhm.
him, and
Yeah.
I dived in that river. And by the time I came up, I was 18 feet down the river. And
Yeah.
he's just like, "Oh fuck, dude, what are you doing?" Like, "I got the lighter, man." And I'm like, "I told you, I'm in here. It feels like razor blades.
Yeah. Gotta
Fucking
cleanse
hurts,
though.
man."
Gotta
And
cleanse a
he
little
kind of
bit.
freaked out. He was like, "You're so dramatic, man. Why are you so intense all the time?" It's
Yeah.
like, bro, if you were me, you'd probably do the same thing. I bet you would. Cause
Straight to the fourth floor with you though. That's how that goes, right? Like, you can't be too colorful or excited or passionate, because
motherfuckers,
straight to the fourth floor you go.
fuck
Like, do not
them.
pass go, do not collect $200. How dare you baptize in a river? Oh my gosh. Like,
I
how dare you, like, I mean, whatever, right? But
It's
that's
really, it's real. Yeah,
yeah, I know.
it's like mental health.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful conversation to be having for a guy who's crashing out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm crashing out on everybody these days. All my girlfriends, all my boyfriends, they're all just like, "You way too intense, X." It's like, my human experience is so potent.
That's real thick.
How am I supposed to not be intense?
Right.
Like, I tell you a story about my weekend, you're gonna think I'm in psychosis. People coming up to me telling me their lucid dreams and their past life progressions.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this shit.
Yeah.
I'm just so colorful in myself and authentic that people are willing to open up to a complete stranger. And if I'm the only crazy one out here, then so be it.
But it's not even true. I mean, my
I
God, it's wild. Like, we've been taught this whole time. We've been taught this whole time that we're a bunch of normal people with a few amongst a few among us, right? A few people just riddled in that might need Ritalin, but also that like are schizophrenic or schizodefective, or like it's like, oh, we're all totally capable of living a normal life except for them. And watch out for the dudes when they get like early 20s to mid 30s, like they're fucked. And like if they're blue collar, nope, scratch them. And like it's like, oh, it's just weird. Like we have this idea that everybody is perfect until they're not, when really it's the other way around. We all are slightly unhinged and dealing with all of these things, whether they be intergenerational or I don't know, alcohol and drug induced trauma or self induced trauma or whatever, that are all finding ways to just like survive and maintain and be content. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time that we stop looking at like us all being totally rational beings and a few of us being totally off the rocker, because it's not that. It's actually the other way around. It's like we're all fucking gone, and a few of us have just found a way to kind of keep it in the space long enough, because nobody is who they say that they are, and nobody acts the same way. Like, you know, and maybe that's not even it, because maybe we are supposed to like have each other to check on each other, like tighten it up a little bit, don't be on the corner preaching, because that's fucking weird. But you can go ahead and do that in like your car next to your friend. That's okay, we'll let that one slide. It's like maybe we need each other to like keep each other checked a little bit, but to think that we're a bunch of totally regular people with a couple of defective humans amongst us is like got to be the most ignorant. It's one of the biggest lies, even, maybe, you know.
Absolutely.
Like,
and I've came to the conclusion recently, to segue off what you're saying, like if I am the best parts of all my ancestors, we're talking thousands of years of lineage.
Yeah.
And my grandma was a dirty worker who practiced witchcraft. And I am my grandmother.
Yeah.
Then you're looking at a medicine man. Right? And when I speak that, when I talk my truth, it doesn't have to be anyone else's truth. It doesn't have to be true to anyone else. It is my truth. And when I talk my talk, either people get scared and they retract, or they feel seen and they open up and be like, yeah, I also feel as if like I have these super natural powers. And I'm like, damn, let me hear it. And they're just like, well, I mean, I just naturally cast spells sometimes. Like leaving a sweater and an umbrella and a toque at my friend's house in Vancouver. And I naturally just do that because I know, like, I can make it home without the three of them.
Yeah.
But like my friend, she's going to need that. She's going to need that on a day where she really needs a toque that smells like me, or like an umbrella that reminds her that she's not alone, or like a sweater that, you know, fits like a man's sweater. And I'm like, bro, shout out to Patrick Dixon. That's who said that.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
beautiful thing. Holy,
damn, bro, that's some very
yeah.
natural shit you pulling right now. And he's like, yeah, this is natural spell casting, man. I'm like, jeez, you a wizard with it. Go. Yeah.
But how wild is it that we even look at, because really it's just consideration. It's like we're so embarrassed and humiliated in the thought of being considerate that we like stop doing that somewhere along the way, right? Like that those gestures seem so extreme, and you know, but it's consideration, and he's not wrong. And I mean, those are I mean, a man's sweater on the right day, like that actually, that does something. Like, and I know all the girls that watch this, they're like, yeah, we all know, right? It's the reason why we thief those things up on the regular. Like that really does do something for people. But it's like, is do we even have to label it that crazy? Because it's really just consideration. Like, where did we stop that piece of society? Like, when did we start concerning ourselves with like what we look like and sound like, to the point where we just aren't considerate anymore?
You know where I think it started? I had this thought just 2 days ago. I dropped my niece and nephew off at school,
Mm-hmm.
and their teacher has taken all of the pages in a racist book and she turned it into stars and put it all over her classroom. She
What?
took all of her fucking desks and she broke them down into pieces, and she created 4 tables with 4 benches per table, and the children sit leg to leg, like side by side in her class. And I thought to myself, damn, they really were indoctrinating me in the same room. I sat in a desk that I could not stand up to the right. I had to stand up and get out of the desk to the left because
Yeah.
the seat was attached to the fucking table. And I was like, that's a simple psychological warfare that they did to me. They took away my right to just stand up and go this way rather than that way. Even if I really, really wanted to. I think that's where it starts in our schooling. Like, you are not allowed to be yourself. You gotta do all these other things.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget grade. I don't even know what grade it was. I had this teacher for so flippin' long. Mr. Pernew. Dr. Pernew is what he should be. He should have a doctorate by now. This teacher was amazing. Mr. Pernew. You know those teachers that like change your life? I had 2 of them, but anyways, he was just a
Yeah.
regular teacher. There was nothing special about him. He was just a regular person. But when it came the time to read A Patch of Blue, I don't know if you ever read that book in school, but it was like, it literally starts off with like, but like this black person is nothing but, or niggers are nothing but apes from Africa or some shit. Like for real, like that's literally like the first line in this book. Okay. And 100%. Yeah. 100%. And like, I might be half black, but like I'm the darkest thing in that high school, other than maybe like the one girl, Marie, who was like adopted. And she, she's cool. She did her thing, but like, other than that, and she didn't really have ties to like her history that she knew of, right? And I knew my family. I knew I knew why I was black. Anyways, doesn't matter. The point that I'm trying to make is that in that moment, he had a choice to make, because up until that point, maybe there was never a black kid to be in that school, in that classroom or whatever. There was only maybe a handful of us that grew up in that community like that. And that's not a small community. It's a pretty big community. But up until that point, they had no reason to ever take that book out of the teachings. So it just went on for so fucking long, right? And then I get there and he said, we read it out loud, and then we read it, and he was like doesn't want to like single me out, but also like, yeah, he's just like, hey, yeah, this is not cool. And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, okay. And that was it. Like, shelf the book, and we ended up learning about like, well, we watched The Color Purple and like all this shit, and like,
fuck yeah,
yeah, and like all this like amazing stuff. And he like was super, now we use words like inclusive and shit, but back then, like, yeah, he like made a choice to just not be shitty, and it changed everything. Because in that moment, like when we read that book, everyone turned and looked at me, and I was like, oh my god, now how do I explain myself? Not that I have anything to explain myself about, because I don't know why would someone allow that into a school system. So I mean, how long did those things just happen for? Years.
yeah.
Right? But teachers are starting to like take some responsibility on the fact they should be the highest paid industry, period, right? They're responsible for our kids, they're responsible for what's to happen. They're like, oh, kids are the future. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit. Like,
the most underpaid,
underappreciated, under talked about. Everyone was like, oh, because there's teachers out here in Alberta went on strike for a while, and people were like pissed off because they had to deal with their children like during a 9 to 5 work day. Oh, well, now I have to pay for childcare. What wait, didn't you have those children? Didn't you birth those children? And yeah, it's inconvenient, no shit. But like maybe as a society, we need to figure out how to rely on each other a little bit more and be more neighborly in times of crisis. You can't just say that like the one-off chance that the teachers might go on strike. I'm gonna no, man. Like, why are we not this? Why are we not talking about this? Why aren't we rounding up the stay-at-home moms for this that are unemployed? Okay, guess what? When this shit goes down, the dudes are going this way, the women are going this way, some of them are going this way, and you guys are like locked in at home. This is where the kid, like, we have no fucking backup plan for anything. We're
No.
just like, yeah, follow the leader right into a fucking shithole. It's just crazy to me. Like, people were actually mad. Oh, I don't have childcare. Like, okay, that's not the problem here. The problem is that we've like given up on actually being neighborly. We've given up on like the need. Like, you have carrots and I have potatoes. Like, cool, man. Now we got stuff we can go barter with the farmer down there with to get some beef or whatever. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
we've lost the ability to actually figure this shit out for ourselves, and it's bizarre. And then we wonder why everyone is like self-medicating and depressed and like upset, and it's like, dude, yeah, no kidding, because the teachers went on strike, the parents were fucked, they had no way of childcare, and all the money that they thought they're going to spend on Christmas is now gone. And so the cycle continues. And now they'll go and get medication for that because they have high anxiety and they're not don't know how to explain to their kids why they don't have Christmas presents or whatever. And then they end up on all these crazy pills only to get cut off of them later on, which is why we're now the fourth phase of the fucking opiate epidemic.
Fuck.
Man, right? And they're like they were already 3, 2, 1 paychecks away from being fucking homeless in the first place. Like,
I see it, and I acknowledge that it's true. It truly is unfortunate that we've reached a point in our lives and in our society that like we all so poor.
Yeah.
We all live in poverty, yet we don't even know that to be truly rich is to bring your neighbor some soup.
Yeah.
Is for your neighbor to bring you some soup. Right? This is a tragedy that we're facing, but as those moments before we got on this live, I told you what happened. Those moments where I cry in the morning, right? I rise up out of bed, I make my bed, I do my journal, I read some literature, and I cry because I'm starting to feel like one of the only ones left out here making noise, being loud, being colorful, like truly wanting to work hard for a future where this shit stops happening, where we're like, yo, homie out in the bush is a forager and she does mushroom tours.
Yeah.
I'm here and I write immaculate, right? You're over where you are and you're taking care of your children and you're so blessed to be so well articulated.
Thank you.
Yeah, like when will we all band together as one again? I don't want to lose hope in us. I know that this shift has been happening since the 70s. They talked about it back when the LSD was good for you. Like
Yes.
there was a awakening happening and it's been slowly happening. Although like fuck, it don't feel good when I say hi to my neighbor next door and we're in a subsidized housing and they don't want to say hi. Like, yeah, they will once in a while say hello, but I
Yeah.
live in a subsidized housing for low income people, and I know my cousin, her husband and children, and I know the people that live directly in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's it. And there's like 30 numbers in this cul-de-sac. Everyone else is just like,
Yeah.
but it is cool because like the little girl that I taught at a spring break camp, she comes over to my house old school as fuck and she says, hey, do y'all have any sugar?
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
baby, yes, we do.
Yes,
Take
we
some sugar. You need some rice too? And she's like, yeah, I bet my grandma would like some potatoes if we got any. And I was like,
yeah. If you got
absolutely. Here you go. Have some. And she's, thank you. I'll come bring you back something some other time. Like,
yeah.
oh, you don't have to bring me nothing, baby. You
No.
just, yeah, you have some sugar and potatoes. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
I
So
love
there's,
that. We exercise that heavy. I like my kids. I'm like, bring the kids. Bring the kids. Leave the door open. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a
yeah.
shit. Like, drop the fence in the back, put the pool up. Like, go get one of those old school swing sets. We bought one of those old school swing sets, rickety as shit. And you know what? It gets so much fucking playtime. Like, it
Yeah.
gets so much playtime. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I get Mother's Day cards from like the neighborhood kid, like that she lives right across. So actually, this is where, like, this is how far we pushed this. Actually, is like now, like my, he's gonna be 2, but he had his own setup for Halloween. Like, he had his own. The girl from across the street, she came over, picked him up with his like push cart. They did like a lap around to go trick or treating. I didn't even have to take my kid trick or treating. You know what I mean?
What?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Like, if we really push that agenda again, like if we really push that, I got a barbecue, you got a pool, we're cool. Like, I'm at home at this time after school, and your kids like need somewhere to be. Great. So did my 12-year-old is driving me crazy. So I'll pay for the 2 of them to go and shoot some hoops or whatever. You know what? I'll even buy my kid a basketball so that the 2 of them or the 3 of them can then go shoot hoops. Like, it's like those pieces that eventually start looking like comfort again. It's like those, it's like we're not that far away. And maybe what's happened with all of this crisis is it's pushed us. It's like we've hit the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is like, I don't know if we've hit it yet, but we're getting awfully close, because when you start looking at some of the extremes that people are going through, people have had enough. I mean, Cowichan, frick. I don't know if you know what happened just the other day. My God. So in Cowichan, it's
80.
like 3 to 12 overdose a day is what was like stacking up on the regular. Then they
Babe,
came through.
80 people overdosed in one day. 80
Why?
people died
After they
and
took
were
medication
Narcaned.
down. After
Yeah,
they took that,
that's what happened. They
they took
moved them out of the streets and into the swamp, and everyone fucking OD'd. It's not like homies don't know what they're shooting up. Somebody's giving them the fucking wrong shit.
Yeah.
Somebody's moving them off the streets so they're not dying on the sidewalk. They're dying in the mud, in the marsh. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure they Narcaned all of them. Like, no one died that day. No one died permanently. They died, but they were brought back. And then, like, not to try and make light of a situation, but like, but little team of young workers. I just got a Snapchat. Shout out to Sadie. She sent me her and her girlfriends, the young woman warriors. They went out. They went around giving hot chocolate and giving out Narcan kits because homies is dying.
Yeah.
And like 80.
Yeah.
That's a fucking staggering number.
It came from a frontline worker who works in the emergency room, and they're like, so now that so now what do we do with the nurses who are like suicidal because they
Yeah.
can't deal with the fucking trauma of that? Like, those are statistics shattering realities. Like, that's like Campbell River had 35 overdose deaths in like 1 month. It was like September, not like like right behind us, but one before. And that was like, that changed the numbers forever for British Columbia. And then when I heard about what happened in Cowichan, I was like, I don't know. It like makes me emotional, and it's like I'm sad, but I'm like so pissed off because how do you now, where do you start dealing with that? What was the deal? Why did you tear them up from where they were? They had the buddy system. They were able to Narcan each other. Obviously, those numbers also represent maybe what was happening in the encampment. I'm not saying that everybody is safe or that there wasn't a bad supply that came through there, because that shit happens all the time. That green shit went through there really bad. The purple, greeny, gross shit that went through there really bad. Like, it happens, right? Like, where it's just all, there's not really any chance of surviving it. However, if you rip me out of my home under any circumstance, ripped you out of your home under any circumstance, it creates trauma. So why would we then do the same thing, knowing that that's what happens to these people? If they've created a somewhat safe space where they can utilize the buddy system, where they are near each other, and like, obviously this isn't a long-term solution, but what the fuck did they think was going to happen? Like, what did they think by displacing everybody? What was going to happen? What was the goal? What is the goal with doing that to these encampments? Like, it's cold outside and there isn't enough housing for everybody. We know that the numbers don't match. There's not enough detox beds for everybody. The shelters are overflowing. You can't, men and women don't want to separate. And we know as human beings that we need that comfort. Sometimes that's what keeps people literally from killing themselves. It's like, women and men don't want to go into separate housing situations. So they utilize these spaces. Like, what the hell was the goal by ripping through an encampment like that in fucking November?
Yeah, it's really tragic. Honestly, it's a tragic situation. And I know many of these nurses that you're speaking about. I do. And that's why it's important when I'm having these suicidal thoughts, which I do, that I speak up.
Yep.
I let people know I'm feeling suicidal and homicidal.
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna fucking murk somebody and then I'm gonna murk myself. Because then homies who is feeling the same way, they don't feel alone anymore, because we're all sitting at home on our screens feeling helpless and hopeless and powerless.
Yeah.
And it's just a brutal situation. Boy, cat, we're having a conversation. And he don't care. He's just like, I want some. It's real though. It's like, and then I'm saying this and you see it. You see that little twinkle come into people's eyes and they're like, fuck, man, you seem so happy. You wake up in the morning and you do all your routine, right? You do all your cold plunges in your saunas and you're eating clean and your nutrition is good. Like, yo, imagine how the homies out there is feeling. Yeah. Imagine how those healthcare workers are feeling, having to revive. Like, people every day coming in and out. And then these healthcare workers can't even socialize after. They don't have no fucking social life. They don't got no social battery left.
No.
It's just like, this has become this really huge situation where none of us have any answers.
Well, it's we literally have cultural burnout to the point where now this is where it gets real wild, is like they actually are starting to use, so as immigrants come into Canada, before they get their papers, before they've proven whatever, and I mean that's a whole other argument, but literally right now, like, we're dealing with that, with an immigration situation, and you know what they're doing? They're turning it around. They're like, oh well, we need them. We need them. We need the immigration. We need the immigrants, which we do, I guess, in a sense. I don't know however you want to. I don't really want to get into that, because we could do a lot without them too. But they're literally using the immigration conversation as a way to deal with the addictions and community service work field. Like, oh, we don't have enough numbers. The burnout rate's terrible. Oh, so we're just going to push everyone into private education, prorate them, and get them through, giving them a living allowance. Just make sure that they go into addictions and community service work, or make sure they go into, well, whatever you want to call it, really. I mean, I use that as the one that I know, like, the easiest, and maybe that's not my reality, but it's so many people's realities. Like, I've met a few people and they're like, oh yeah, I don't even have my citizenship yet. But it was sold to me that this was the career that was chosen for me. And I'm like, so what happens then? What happens next? Because we've pushed our citizens into we pushed our citizens into like colossal fatigue and burnout, and then now we're going to replace them with this band-aid of a solution, I guess. I don't know, it's like weird. And I guess the reason why I bring it up, I'm taking advantage of the conversation a little bit, because I've been so passionate lately, and everyone's so passionate lately about the unhoused and about the people that are on the streets. I feel for them. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. And if you guys have an opportunity, people in the comment section, if you have an opportunity to go and bring someone a hot chocolate or some food or a pair of socks or a toque or a jacket, go and do it. You don't need a big organization to do that. Just take it the fuck downtown and hand it out. You don't need to go through some nonprofit to do that. Just be a good person and be kind. We're all human beings. But then, like, what also happens to like the residuals? What happens to like everyone on the wave of that? Like, there's like this huge, bigger situation that I'm like learning about lately, that I'm like, wait a second, like we're actually taking advantage of people who are just new to Canada, who haven't had a chance to get acclimated, and we're pushing them into like this super important job. This isn't me being racist. This is just me speaking like what I've seen lately. And it's just like, holy crap, wait, like, why is that the choice for our mental health sector? What? Whoa. And I'm not saying it's not a good solution. I just mean, like, what the fuck? How did we get here?
I think what happened, how we got here, was they killed all the great prophets
Yeah. Yes.
publicly.
Yeah.
Right? Like they killed Malcolm.
Yeah.
They killed Martin.
Yeah.
Right? I walk around, even if I don't have nothing, because I live in poverty. I'm on the fucking I'm on that low income shit. Like,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
walk
we all are.
around
Yeah.
and I preach the word of the great Bob Marley.
There you go.
All I say is to my people, I say, rise up.
Yeah.
Rise up out of this.
Yeah.
Out of this sadistic situation.
Yeah.
Rise up out of this damnation. Rise up. And they look at me. Chin up, young warrior. And they're like, wow, who the fuck that kid is? What is he doing? Then I listened to the late Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, she's coming around, man. She's coming back around. She's coming
She's a
around.
motherfucking beautiful prophet. Like, yo, she has really been on it for a minute.
She's been saying things for, well, and same with Erykah Badu, and same with Andre.
Yes, babe,
yes.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. Erykah is the most colorful, wise woman of this lifetime. Now,
I've had a crush on her since I was like since for always, like always.
I was telling the bus driver today, you go listen to Miss Erykah Badu. She just stopped off in the New York Times in the office, and she was singing that made me cry. Just like, damn, this beautiful woman still alive with us right now. Like, wow, I'm just not alone.
No, you're not. And that's what, like, you have to be this example of yourself. People like you, people like her, people that are so comfortable in their skin, that speak what is true to them, is what allows other people who aren't quite sure, what, the kids that are like, I don't know if I say that right, the people that are worried about going to the 4th floor. It's like, if you are that example and it affects 1, 2, 3 100,000 people, right? It's like that, then we all have permission to be a little bit extraterrestrial. We all have permission to be a little, Homo sapien. We all have permission to be like exactly what it is that we're supposed to be. And that ends stigma. That conversation, those conversations, those looks, those laughs, those connections, that's what ends stigma. I feel suicidal today, I feel homicidal today. When you said that, I was like, the amount of people that need to say that and identify themselves It would make it a lot easier to live in society if people would just say that shit out loud. Okay, cool. Now we know who each other are. I know I don't really need to like fuck with you like that today, maybe tomorrow, but not today. Like, it would just be a lot easier to respect each other and be kind and considerate to each other and our neighbors if we all just said our truth and allowed each other to figure that out. Well, okay, you know what? You're feeling a little wet today. Okay, you know what? Don't go by the post office. Let me grab your mail and my mail for us
Yeah.
both,
Right.
right? Let me grab that soup that grandma had on the stove all day long, and I'll be right there. It's cool.
Right.
We're cool. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And whoever is tuned into this,
yeah,
just know that you is not alone.
no,
You're looking at somebody that they call crazy every day.
yeah,
My damn mama tells me that shit every day. Right? Like it's okay. As long as we just keep fighting. We
yeah,
gotta fight. We gotta fight. Even if it's hard every damn day waking up. Even if it's difficult, you don't want to wake up no more. Like, we got this.
yeah,
We absolutely got this. We're gonna leave this planet better than we found it.
yeah,
I know that. I
yeah,
have faith. I have faith. I
yeah,
think things will get better. Too many people taking their lives. Too many people letting that slow burn. They committing suicide slowly. And it's not good. We lost too many people. And yeah, I'm gonna keep fighting. I
yeah.
will.
I
I
don't want
will.
to. We all in, yeah, and like say the things, band together, lean on each other. You guys in the comments, like, thank you for showing up and hanging out, but also like reach out to each other. Like, oh, 250-289-3948 is the warm line. If you don't want to call it, text it. Let us know what city you're in, so that way we know what resources we need to get and put them in the text conversation. It doesn't have to be that crazy. You don't have to come on here and say all the things. You can just text us and let us know, and then we'll get the resources that you need to be able to continue with your day or continue with your moment or whatever, because it's tough. It really is. It's unsettlingly challenging to function in a day-to-day space without being able to just say your truth and lean on each other without, criticism and ostracism. So, you guys take advantage of that. X, while you're here, I spoke with you a little bit earlier about this young lady who lost her life, unfortunately.
She's
And
in my mind and my heart right now. Thinking,
yeah,
saying that shit out loud. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm just real quick. I'm gonna throw up a QR code. So everyone in the comments, you guys, you can go ahead and use this QR code. Yeah, there it is, right there at the top of the screen, and over there. Yeah. Boom. You guys can go ahead and scan that, and it's going to take you to a GoFundMe page for this lovely lady. May she rest peacefully.
Mm.
This lady is actually from the island. She's got small children, and her family is right now trying to raise some money to get her kids to her service. I don't normally take the time to talk about these things, but this is in our face a reality of the situation that's happening, this epidemic, this fourth phase of whatever you want to call it. And I can't speak to her truth or her reality, but I do know that she's put a lot of energy in to just trying to be a person and survive in this world. And unfortunately, it didn't go that way for her. If we can maybe ease some of this family stress, because finances are not something that they should be worried about in a time of grief. If you guys have a couple of bucks or a couple more bucks, please go ahead and use the QR code right there. And let's see if we can't at least double whatever monies are in there and try and get her kids home for her service. Ah, my goodness. The island is got to be one of the most beautiful places to be. And I hope that in the skies and the mist and the beach and the smells and the sprays, that this family finds some peace and some way to get through, laying their daughter and their mom to rest. I know personally, what this looks and feels like. Uh,
Mm.
I know you understand what this looks and feels like. And as a community, it's really important to speak about these things and these realities. These aren't statistics. These are human beings. These aren't these aren't newspaper articles. These are human beings. Yeah. So Rachel, may she rest peacefully. Again, you guys, QR code right there. Go ahead and use it. It's going to take you to her GoFundMe page. Couple of bucks, that's all it takes. Hopefully that money will stack up and we'll be able to get her kids home. They will be able to get her kids home. I'm saying it to me like it's not, but we are a community, so anything helps. You guys take advantage of all this technology and let's use it for some good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been such an honor and a privilege to have you here with me tonight. I hesitated on a few things and I was like, oh, I don't know. I just want to like honor him and honor his music and honor, you as a guest. But we went on this like massive roller coaster of a ride. I even feel like I spoke maybe a lot more on some things that I'm really, opinionated about. And so I thank you so much for giving me like holding space for me as well. And and just thank you for the conversation. It was needed.
My pleasure. Yeah, this on the verge of tears at the end of this. My heart is heavy. This weight that I carry is heavy. My music is very sacred. And God willing, I'll be around to share some more strength, experience, and hope with y'all. And thank you for giving me the platform to speak my truth, because every day I'm just experiencing this human experience, and it's passion, it's pain, it's life, it's death, rebirth, it's light, it's darkness. And I know in my hearts of hearts, I know that we will get through this together. I believe, I have faith. God bless you so much. God bless each and every one of y'all that tuned in today.
Yeah.
Yahweh, rise up.
Yeah. If whenever, now is the time. Now is the time. What X said, rise up, stand with each other, stand near each other, love one another, support one another. You guys, it's been such a blessing. I can't thank you enough. Calico has thrown a bunch of beautiful links, and Callie too. I see you in the comments, darling. Thank you so much. The links to all the music that you've made over the last little while, so it's accessible to everybody. You guys go out, check it out, download, add it. Oh my God, it's such, your music is so universal, and I brag about it every once in a while. We get a guest, and I'm like, oh, I could play this music anywhere. Yours checks that box, anywhere for anyone. So don't sleep on it. Add it. I mean, it's funny because even like I said, I was grieving a little bit before we started this, and then I put your music on, and I was like, this does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, love will always win. Love will always win.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to get out of here, you guys. 250-289-3948. Use that number to go ahead and let us know what we can do for you and how we can support you. Text in your location so we can get those resources out. And hashtag 988 is the national for North America. It is for the States too, but they were going to change that. But anyways, the suicide prevention line is hashtag 988. I've tried it. I've called it to see what it's about. They got all the big guns in there, so don't hesitate to call them either. So hashtag 988 is the suicide prevention line, and 250-289-3948 is the Pinecase warm line. You guys take care of each other. Stay safe, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.
Please stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know, gotta keep my head together,
We stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
We stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.